Happy Friday. It's time for another edition of the Daily Racing Form Weekend Preview. I'm Gino Buccola alongside my co-host Alexa Zepp. She is back from Thailand. She's been all over the place having a blast. Alexa, I've been living vicariously through you watching your travels on Instagram. Did you have a nice trip?
Oh, it was amazing. It was truly, truly paradise. So I'm so thankful, but I am still glad to be back with everybody.
Ready to rock and roll too, because we have business to handle today. Our focus is going to be out in Florida. We're going to look at the 10th race at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. It's the Sunshine Classic for Florida Brett, so we'll go horse by horse through that, and then we'll get into a couple stakes races at Tampa Bay Downs. But a quick mention, I know all over the country, people are dealing with natural disasters out on the West Coast, fires all over the place, middle of the country, it's freezing temperatures. I know some tracks are canceled, so hopefully we can entertain you a little bit. We can lead you in the right direction and help make you some money for some of the folks who are dealing with some really tough conditions out there. Alexa, let's get to Gulfstream Park. Let's get to race number 10. I thought a really challenging edition of the Sunshine Classic for Florida Breds. They're going to go 1.16 on the dirt in here, and we'll kick things off with the number 1, Power Humor, who's going to try Stakes Company for the first time. And the last 3 horses that he lost to are all in here, so he's going to have to improve and turn the tables on them. And what I found in handicapping this race, there are a lot of horses in here who are not proven or we haven't seen go 1.16. They're all used really horses who have been going shorter. So we're going to kind of have to project with some of these horses if they can get this trip.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very tough race, but Power Humor is making that stakes debut, like you said, for a very sharp barn. The Barboza barn's doing very well, but it hasn't really gotten out of the gate that clearly in a few of those recent starts, and does do his best running from on or near their lead. So he might not have the ability given his lifetime best. Speed figures are just kind of slower than a lot in here.
Sometimes I can get a little crazy with horses that I like, Alexa, but this next one, I'll see if I can talk you into Cozieres a little bit, the 2. So I think if you go through Cozieres' recent form, you'll see horses like Subsanador, Highland Falls,
Yeah.
Tapit Trice, like legitimate grade 1 and grade stakes company. I think the pattern kind of fits. This horse likes Gulfstream, and he's capable of winning going 1.16. He's just not as consistent because he's faced pretty good company. This is kind of like class relief for him. His most recent race, it was only a field of 4, but there wasn't much speed, so he was kind of chasing in there. I like Cozieres a little bit, and it's just such a challenging race, Alexa. I think you can make cases for a lot of horses in here.
You can definitely make a case for him in here at 8-1. I mean, he's had those 4 wins and 9 starts at Gulfstream, so he likes the track. The only time he hasn't really finished in the money was this race last year, where he was 6, beaten by 11.5. But like you said, since then faced much better graded stakes company. So this competition is definitely going to be a more comfortable spot for him.
When you were talking about last year's race, the winner of last year's race is the number 3, Lure Him In, who has one of the higher ceilings in this field. Yeah. Another horse who's been facing open company since that win against Florida Breds last year. But we know that if he shows up with one of his better races, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, career best speed figure that day when he won last year. Has not won since in 7 tries, 3 of those being graded stakes in Florida, Texas, and New York, but also cross-entered in an allowance at Tampa Bay, where he is the 6-1 or 6-5 morning line favorite. But, could return and win again.
The 4-horse Secret Chat feels like a major player. I think it's probably the horse to beat. You and I feel like we picked him both second with our selections. Maybe we went for a little more value on top, but it's just really tough to knock his overall body of work. The next test he has to kind of pass is, can he get the 1.16? But he looked like it should be no problem for him.
Yeah, he's improving, who's won both races since entering that Barboza barn, and returns to this Florida bred company where he has 2 wins and 3 starts. So he should sit a nice trip off of the speed and, stretching out past a mile for just the second time in his career.
Another horse who's in really nice form right now is Awesome Train. He's won 2 in a row, and you look at his last 5 races, it's pretty tough to knock that overall form. So he comes into this race sharp, and I think he's another horse who you can absolutely make a case for.
I really like Awesome Train. Like you said, he's won 2 straight, has really strong back-to-back speed figures, and has rattled off 4 career wins since being gelded. So maybe we're seeing a little bit of a new horse here. And he is kind of a machine, making the 12th start from the form cycle, having at least 1 race in each of the last 9 months. So a bit of a powerhouse, and I like a lot.
Yeah, major player in here. Another one. One Sharp Cookie is the 6 who's back in with Florida Breds. Had a couple really nice wins in 2024, but those races were back to back on a muddy track and on a sloppy track. So I do wonder if maybe this is a horse who's a little bit better on an off track, and he's been a little bit better going shorter. So he kind of has a couple questions that he has to answer for us. But a lot of these horses on class are kind of similar. It's just going to be distance and trip for them.
Yeah, I mean, this horse is probably going to be a part of that early pace equation. He's led in 6 of his 11 sprint races. But before that, he did have 2 wins at Gulfstream where he won as the odds-on favorite. He's hit the board in some of his races going long. So, an interesting player for sure.
The number 7, Shaq Diesel for the Laker fans, is a Florida bred stakes winner who actually defeated Big Martini at the end of 2023. If you toss the races where he's had poor starts, everything else is pretty solid. I do think he's another one, though, who's probably better at like 7 furlongs to a mile. Might be a little farther than where he's at his best. What do you think about Shaq Diesel?
He's gotten a little bit of new life in the David Fox barn with 3 wins and 7 total in the money finishes in 9 starts. Generally does come back from the back of the pack, but has been a little bit closer to the pace recently while stretching out. I think, again, this race is very tough. I kind of teetered on whether or not to include Shaq Diesel.
Belts and Brooks is 0 for the last 4 and now steps up. He's another one in here who's going to have to deal with some of the horses who have beat him recently, right?
Yeah.
Like Awesome Train, like Secret Chat, like Lightning Tone. So I'm just a little cold on him and prefer a couple others here.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an ambitiously placed race for him, trying to save his company for just the second time. 4 wins in 2024. So he's been winning, but against quite easier competition. And like you said, has lost to quite a few in here. So we would definitely need to see the best race of his career.
When you and I go back and forth talking about some of the races before the show, one that we kind of upgraded a little bit is Lightning Tones, the 9, who's not been winning as much recently, but a horse who's coming out of a really strong race and is a horse who's in very nice form with the 2nd and then a 3rd most recently. So I think this horse fits really well and could come closing.
I do too. And I also think it's important to note with him, like he was winless in 2024, but has had 3 wins, including stakes wins over the Gulfstream track. So This is kind of like a specialty placement for him. And at 12-1 odds, he's one I went back to and ended up including in my selections.
You have Super Watson, who's 0 for his last 12, but he's going to go first start off the claim for Safi Joseph, who's one of the top trainers down at Gulfstream, and he'll try dirt for the first time. So I'm kind of hemming and hawing a little bit on him, but anytime a top barn like that makes a move like that, you want to kind of take notice.
He's trying dirt for the first time after 41 races. So, I mean, this is really quite the move. But like you said, Safi is great and has strong stats for those moves, 33% winning first off the claim, 27% win rate on the dirt. So interesting career choice to make. And I'm not putting my 401k on him, but I could see a surprise at 20-1 odds with him, creeping up into the money.
Maybe some improvement from that good barn. Speaking of that barn, Safi Joseph Jr. has Holiday Pay as well, who was a little disappointing last time out. He was actually favored over Secret Chat. Had a slow start. Just another one, though, who's done all of his best work going a little shorter, Alexa.
Yeah, his wins have come from being near the lead, and I want the same position tomorrow. He has done well so far in these Florida bred races, though. He's won 2 out of the 4 he's competed in his 2-year-old and 3-year-old year. So interesting play.
Big Martini rounds out the field. I'm more of like a Jack and Coke captain guy myself, but this horse will try to control the pace from the outside, but parked way out there will really have to be on his A game to kind of clear over and to maybe be able to control this pace.
Yeah, this is longest he's ever tried, so there's no denying his talent, but it's going to be a tough spot for him.
In a very difficult, contentious race, let's move to the selections and see where we end up. So for you, Alexa, who are you going to put on top in here?
I've got the 5 Awesome Train on top over Secret Chat.
Yeah, but the 2, Cozieris on top of Secret Chat. Mentioned others behind Big Martini, and the 9, who we like, could offer us some value. So as we get set for our first commercial break, Alexa, let the folks out there know about the offer we have for them.
Yeah, we have a promo for you guys. We're offering a free all-access PPs. So just use the code DRFSGPPS or scan that QR code on your screen.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll talk Gulfstream Park Pick 5.